Hello everyone. This is national bestseller How Come No One Told Me That by Prakash Iyer, chapter 6. Everyone wants options, backup plans, and safety nets. But if you look at some of the great people who changed the world, you would often see a pattern. They had no choice, no option but to make a success of whatever it was they were working on. Get that mindset. Failure is not an option. If you want to make sure you don't give up on your dreams and aspirations, here's what you should do. Make sure you understand that giving up is not an option. You have no choice but to persevere. Having no option is the best option. It's a daily ritual, well, almost. Every morning at 6 am, my wife and I step out for a walk. The intent is to walk for an hour and get our day's quota of physical activity. It also allows us to catch up on conversation. As we step out of our home, we have a choice of two alternative routes we can take for the long walk. The first option, let's call it the long road, is to take a circuitous 6-kilometer walk around the area we live in. It's a path that circumnavigates the entire neighborhood around, that is, along the perimeter of the area. We go past an assortment of villas, apartments, then around office buildings. Then we reach the local shopping complex and go past a temple and school. And finally, we find ourselves on the road back home after completing one long loop. A full 60-minute walk. The other option, let's call it a round and round, is to walk from home to a circular garden about 6 minutes away. We do 4 rounds of the garden, each of which takes about 12 minutes, and then walk back home along the same path, completing the hour-long morning ritual. But the routes have their own charms. But I have noticed something interesting about the two choices. On days when we take the long road, we get engrossed in conversation. We don't think too much about the walk itself, or the time, or the distance. And once we decide to take that long road, we know that it'll be an hour before we are back home. There's no other way out. But when we take the option of doing 4 rounds of the garden, something strange seems to happen. Some days after completing the first round, one of us would feel a slight tightening of the calf muscle. On the other days after the second round, I would sense the aroma of homemade filter coffee beaconing. I can't wait to go home. Sometimes, as we complete round 2, the wife would say, "I'm feeling tired today." You didn't sleep too well last night, did you?" I would ask, and then look into her eyes and at the road that would take us back home. Often after the third round, I would be convinced that it was in fact round 4 we completed and not round 3. So, time to head back. You get the drift, right? Result? On most days when we take the round and round option, we actually end up walking for less than an hour. And when we set off from home, our intent is always the same, walk for an hour. But the presence of an option to walk less than an hour actually results in the outcomes that are different. We take the soft option. And that set me thinking. Does this happen to us in other walks of life too? The existence of an option alternative often makes us deviate from our chosen path, leading to suboptimal outcomes. Success comes through grit, through sticking it out, and through staying the course even when going gets tough. Giving up is easy, and when you have an option, it gets easier. Businesses and leaders love having a plan B. Maybe we all need to rethink that. Plan B is meant to be an alternative that you can resort to when the preferred path, Plan A, is coming apart. Failing. Plan B is not meant to be an option simply because Plan A is going to be tough, long haul. But that's the trap we fall into. We are quick to abandon the long road to the big prize in favor of a shortcut that doesn't quite get us the same rewards. The consequence? We give up. Too soon. At the first hint of the trouble, we abandon our stated objective. Forget the first hint of trouble, we imagine there's trouble. It's almost as if we start seeking out the negatives and downsides when there's a tempting plan B in sight. Choice then isn't always a good thing. Sometimes not having any other option can be the fuel that powers you along the road to success. Reminds me of something that happened several years ago in the 3rd century BC. General Xiang Yu sent some troops across the Yangtze River in China to fight the Qin dynasty. And once they landed across the river, General Yu ordered the ships to be set ablaze. He then told his soldiers the hard truth. You have an option, young men. Either you fight and win the war, or you die. Might be a good idea for you to consider too. Burn your ships once the soldiers land. Shut out the plan B. In business and in life, we cling on to our escape routes, our plan Bs, because we value the safety of retreat. We want to avoid the risks or progress, and we give up on the challenge that precedes any achievement. Next time, take the long road, burn the ships, have a plan B, junk it. You will discover new ways and new passion and resolve to make plan A work. Success comes through grit, through sticking it out, and through staying the course even when the going gets tough. Giving up is easy, and when you have an option, it gets easier. Junk plan B. Sometimes not having any other option can be the fuel that powers you along the road to success. That was chapter 6. See you in chapter 7.